Back at the Naturopath. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Before we jump into this video, don't forget, at the end of the video, you can download some free resources that I've created just for you. The Candida Diet and Cleanse Starter Guide, the Ultimate Candida shopping list, the diet shopping list, and also the Candida Symptom Tracker, which you're going to find very useful. So these are all for free. So at the end of the video, just jump into yeastinfection.org/goodies and you can download these things at no charge at all. If you have any questions, remember you can always ask those and either I can get back to you or the team. So thanks for tuning in and we'll catch up with you at the end of the video. It's Eric back at the Naturopath. Thanks for coming back. A question I got asked a few times by a few subscribers, I thought I'd give a reply to it. What diet should I do first? Should it be the Candida diet or should it be the AIP diet, the autoimmune paleo diet? So if you look at the APE diet, I call it the APE diet, the monkey diet, but it's the autoimmune diet basically. So it's for reducing inflammatory rates, but I find it a bit savage, to be honest. Very savage, because if you look at the AIP diet, you're stripping people of basically everything: nuts and seeds, legumes, grains, dairy, eggs. So many foods are taken away. You're giving people most of the foods I recommend: fermented foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, minimal sweetness, and maybe some maple syrup or honey. Well, these are all things I recommend, but I think it's, in my personal opinion, a bit of baloney to take all of the other foods away from every single person on that particular diet. How can you sit there and say, I've got 100 people, I'm going to put them on the APE diet, and out of those 100 people, every single person is forbidden to have any legumes, any eggs, any grains, any nuts, any seeds, anything like that at all? I just can't buy that kind of stuff. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of autoimmune patients over the years, a lot of them, lots of colitis patients, and lots of people with thyroid disorders, and have not found really that every single person with an autoimmune disease is going to benefit from this AIP diet. But the question is, should I start on the Candida diet or should I start on the AIP diet? Because that's what the question is. My reply is, I don't think you should look at it from that angle. I think you should look, what can your gut tolerate diet? So if we've got Fred, Nancy and Bill in front of us, we need a Fred diet, a Nancy diet and a Bill diet, okay, if you get my drift. We don't need a Candida diet, an ape diet and a gorilla diet or a jelly bean diet, or try not to look at it from diet. It's a word we use, diet, of course. It's a 4-letter word, remember. But the diet needs to be tailored to suit you, the person. So for me to sit there and give you a piece of paper saying, yes foods, forbidden foods, I don't really work like that. I'm more flexible because I tend to look more at the patient's reactions to the grains. I tend to look at the reactions to the legumes. I tend to look at the reactions to the foods they're eating. I tend to study the stool test reports to see what their bacterial levels are like, what their enzyme levels are like, what their gut's like, what can they tolerate. Every person is different. And to put people on this diet or that diet. But if you look at the APE and the Candida diet, they have a lot of similarity. They're taking a lot of the crap out the diet, a lot of junk, a lot of sugar, a lot of white bread and things like that, which is a good thing. But I find that you don't need to go hardcore and extreme with people with diets because it's not going to last long. I've had some people on the autoimmune paleo diet up to 2-3 years, which I find quite silly. I mean, why would you do that for? Why would you stay for years and years and years on no nightshades, no grains, no legumes, and it's only a tiny bit of meat that's like wild caught? And yeah, so I would look at a Candida diet approach to stay on that. But as I say, if you look at the Candida Crusher diet, we do allow legumes, we do allow nightshades, we allow certain types of fruit, not all fruits. So you've got to be careful. But some people do benefit from the AIP diet, and we're talking people with seriously powerful autoimmune disease with high inflammatory rates. I think there's merit. So remember, the bigger the problem, the bigger the hammer, okay? If you've got a seriously bad autoimmune case, there's definitely merit for the APE diet. But then as that autoimmune shows a different expression in the body, it needs to be loosened up and changed according to the patient's improvement. So meaning if a prisoner's in jail and they're showing a lot of scope and they improve, well, why don't we just put them in a lower security? Let's get them out of the maxi cell. Let's get them out of the nightshade cell. Let's get them out of the no legume cell, and let's put them in with the general population, people eating tomatoes and stuff like that. That's the point I'm trying to make. I can't see any benefit of a candida improvement on the autoimmune paleo diet. I don't really see it that way. All I try and do is try and tailor, make, or have their diet suit that patient, regardless of what disease they got or what diet book they've been reading. It's all about matching up the best foods for that person. And that's why my kind of work is so difficult. And I have a lot of people disagreeing with what I say. I don't mind disagreements. I like debating things and talking about things. But remember, my patients are my best teachers, not diet gurus. So the Candida diet is the one to follow. And then you can tack on some bits and pieces onto that diet. Perhaps, you may even want to take stuff out of the Candida diet. You may want to add some things in, but it's trial and error. And I look at some of more of my videos regarding carbohydrate tolerance and protein tolerance and what my opinions are on those. Okay. Thanks for the question. It's Eric Backer again, the naturopath. I hope you enjoyed that video. Remember, go to yeastinfection.org/goodies if you want to download my free resources I've created just for people like you. These are things I used in the clinic for patients, and you'll find them very useful. It's the free Candida diet, the cleanse, so it's a good introduction on how to set your program together. There's the ultimate Candida diet shopping list, and there's also the Candida symptom tracker. yeastinfection.org/goodies. Thanks for tuning in and subscribe. Thank you.